The laughter hit me before the words did. Sharp, cutting, meant to slice me open in front of everyone. What's that smell? Oh wait, it's her food. Jessica's voice rose above the clatter of trays and plastic forks. I froze mid-step, my tray trembling in my hands. Chloe leaned in beside her, smirking. Seriously, what even is that? Looks like slop. Guess that's what they eat where she comes from. My throat tightened, but I forced myself to keep walking. I could feel every eye on me, burning holes in my back. I didn't know they let. People like you in here, another boy muttered from their table. Laughter exploded around him. I stopped at the end of the table. Their faces blurred together, smirks, giggles, the cruel delight of a pack circling prey. Jessica tilted her head, her blonde hair swinging like a weapon. New girl, right? You must have taken a wrong turn. The janitor's closet is that way. The table erupted again. My palms itched to slam the tray into her smirk, but I swallowed hard. If I cracked now, they'd win. Behind me, I heard someone whisper, just ignore them. Another hissed, don't get involved. The silence of the cafeteria roared louder than their taunts. Teachers glanced over, frowned for half a second, and turned back to their conversations. Their silence screamed louder than the insults. I finally sat down at an empty table, every step like dragging chains. My food no longer looked edible. I stared at it, willing myself not to cry. Jessica wasn't done. She leaned back in her seat, loud enough for the whole cafeteria. Careful, everyone. Don't sit near her. You might catch something. More laughter. Some students shifted uncomfortably, but no one spoke. Not one. I clenched my fists under the table, nails digging into my skin. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might break through my chest. Why am I here? Why did I think this place would be different? Chloe called out again. Hey, new girl. Do they even have real schools where you're from? Or just shacks and dirt floors? I looked up, meeting her eyes across the cafeteria. Her grin faltered just slightly when she saw the fire in mine. I wanted to scream, to flip the table, to shatter the silence with my rage. Instead, my voice came out low, steady, a whisper only I could hear. One day, you'll choke on every word you've thrown at me. My fork slipped from my fingers, clattering against the tray. Heads turned, some students waiting for me to explode. Instead, I sat still, spine straight, jaw locked. Jessica smirked again. Cat got your tongue? Figures. Her friends cackled. The teacher by the doorway glanced at me once more. Our eyes met. For a split second, I thought he might step in. But he turned, walked away, pretending not to hear. Betrayal. Pure, gut-deep betrayal. My chest ached, but no tears fell. Not here. Not in front of them. I pushed my tray away, food untouched, and stood. The room went quiet for just a moment. All those eyes curious, mocking, waiting to see if I'd break. I let the silence stretch, then drew in a long breath. That's enough, I muttered. Not for them. For me, I walked out, each step heavier than the last. The laughter started. Up again behind me, echoing in the halls, but their laughter couldn't drown out the voice inside me. That was the moment. I decided their comfort ends where my dignity begins, and with that vow burning in my chest, I pushed through the cafeteria doors, carrying the weight of their cruelty and the seed of something they'd never expect. The sharp slam of lockers echoed like gunshots. I walked in, clutching my bag tighter than I should have. My gym shirt stuck to my back, sweat mixing with nerves. My locker was already open. My chest tightened, lotion dripped across the inside like someone had tipped a bottle and let it bleed down the metal. My notebooks lay crumpled, the covers torn, pages bent. And soggy, a voice cut through the noise. Oops, guess your stuff just couldn't handle the heat. Jessica leaned against the lockers, twirling a strand of her hair like this was comedy hour. Chloe stood beside her, arms crossed, eyes scanning me like I wasn't even human. I clenched my fists. You went through my locker? Jessica smirked. Locker? Please, we just gave your garbage a makeover, Chloe snorted. You should thank us. We've made it look authentic. My throat burned. Why? Jessica's grin widened. Because it's fun. Because you don't belong here. Because every time you walk in, you remind us that someone made a mistake letting you through those doors. Her words cracked something inside me, but I didn't let her see it. I forced my voice out, low and sharp. Where I come from doesn't matter, but one day you'll regret asking that. Chloe rolled her eyes. Oh, big words. Scary? You gonna curse us or something? Jessica leaned closer, her breath hot against my cheek. No one cares where you came from, and no one will care when you leave. I held her gaze, though my hands shook. Behind her, I caught sight of a girl, quiet, dark hair falling into her face, watching from the end of the row. Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. Her eyes dropped when Jessica glanced her way. That silence, it stung more than the insults. I shoved my ruined notebooks back into my bag, pages tearing against my hands. Lotion smeared across my fingers, sticky, cold. My chest heaved, but I bit down on every word that wanted to explode. Jessica laughed. Look at her, trying to act tough. It's pathetic. Chloe chimed in. Maybe she'd cry. Come on, cry for us. My vision blurred. I refused to give them the satisfaction. I slammed the locker shut, the sound reverberating through the room. You think you're untouchable, I whispered, my voice trembling but steady. But I see you. Every word, every laugh, it's a chain you're wrapping around yourself. One day you'll strangle on it. For the first time, Jessica's smirk faltered, just a flicker. Then she scoffed and turned to Chloe. Come on. She's boring. Their laughter trailed off as they left, high heels clicking on tile, their perfume choking the air. The locker room felt too quiet. I dropped my bag on the bench and sank down, burying my face in my hands. The tears came fast, hot, unstoppable. They dripped onto my lotion-smeared palms, stinging like acid. I pressed my fist to my eyes. Don't let them break you. Don't let them win. But I felt broken. Shattered in a way I didn't know how to put back together. The silent girl peeked around the corner, eyes meeting mine for just a second. She opened her mouth, then closed it. She turned and slipped out without a word. The emptiness echoed louder than the laughter. I sat there, alone with the smell of lotion and humiliation, and whispered into the stillness, I won't stay silent, not forever. My voice cracked, but it carried. That vow was the only thing holding me together. I gripped my notebook so tight the edges bent beneath my fingers. My voice trembled as I spoke. Miss Carter, I need to tell you what happened again. Chloe poured lotion in my locker. They ripped my notebooks. They called me names. Every day. Her eyes skimmed me once, then drifted back to the papers on her desk. She didn't even flinch. You're probably just too sensitive, she murmured, clicking her pen. They didn't mean it that way. Too sensitive? My chest burned. They laugh in my face. They tell me to go back where I came from. How can that be? Maybe they're just joking, she interrupted with a sigh, shifting in her chair. Teenagers can be cruel, but don't take it so personally. My nails dug into my palm. A joke? Was my skin their punchline? I swallowed hard. So it's fine because it's me? Because I don't matter as much as them? Her eyes flicked up for a second, then dropped again. You're making this more dramatic than it is. The words sliced deeper than Jessica's sneers. My teacher's silence in class had already hurt. But this missile felt like betrayal wearing authority's face. I thought teachers were supposed to protect students. I whispered, my throat raw. She shifted uncomfortably, stacking papers. If you really feel unsafe, you can talk to the principal, but don't expect miracles. Her voice trailed after me as I left, heavy with disinterest. My legs carried me down the hallway. Though my heart felt heavier with every step, the principal's office smelled of old carpet and coffee. Mr. Reynolds leaned back in his chair, hands folded neatly, eyes calm like he'd heard this all before. So, he began smoothly, tell me what's been going on. I poured it out, the laughter, the slurs, the destruction of my things, the silence of the crowd. My words spilled fast, trembling but sharp. When I finally stopped, he exhaled, slow and practiced. We can't risk punishing popular students without evidence. My stomach dropped. Evidence? My voice cracked. The evidence is in my locker, in my notebooks. In my tears, isn't that enough? He raised a brow. Do you have photos? Witness statements? Proof beyond your word? I froze. Proof. My word wasn't proof, it was paper to be shredded, a file to be pushed aside. So their comfort is policy, I whispered to myself, my hands trembling on my lap, and my pain is paperwork. What was that? He asked, mildly tilting his head. I met his gaze, my voice shaking but firm. You want me silent because it's easier. You want me invisible so you don't have to deal with them. He clasped his hands tighter. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you meant, my chest heaved. You'll protect them because they're popular, and you'll bury me because I'm not. A pause. His silence was heavier than his words, heavier than the laughter in the cafeteria. I stood, my knees weak but my spine unbending. If you won't stop them, I will. Be careful what you're suggesting, he warned, his voice suddenly sharper. I opened the door without answering. My reflection in the office window showed. My swollen eyes, my clenched jaw, for the first time. I didn't see just pain, I saw the beginning of resolve. They wanted my silence. Instead, I would sharpen my voice into something they couldn't ignore. I walked out of the office, the echo of my footsteps carrying the weight of a vow I wouldn't beg again. Next time, I'd fight on my own terms. The tray slipped from my hands before I even hit the floor. Mac and cheese splattered across my shirt, milk seeped into my jeans, and the cafeteria erupted in laughter that clanged in my ears louder than the crash of the plate. Jessica's shrill voice cut through the noise. Oops, didn't see you there. Guess gravity doesn't like you either. Chloe snorted beside her, covering her mouth but not her smirk. My chest burned hot, then icy cold. I felt every stare pierce me, every chuckle slice through my skin. Someone at the next table whispered, not quietly enough, "Why doesn't she just fight back?" My hands trembled as I scrambled to gather what was left of my tray. My fingers slipped over soggy fries, shaking, slippery with milk. Their laughter didn't stop. If anything, it grew louder. Jessica leaned down just enough for me to smell her perfume, sickly sweet, almost choking. "Careful," she hissed in a mock whisper. "Don't want you to break something besides your pride." I froze, my knees still on the floor, milk soaking through my jeans. My throat burned with words I had never dared to say aloud, words I always buried beneath silence. "You'll choke on your laughter one day." My voice shook, but it was sharp enough to slice the air. The cafeteria went quiet for half a heartbeat, like everyone had inhaled at once. Then laughter exploded again, harsher this time, wilder, as if mocking me for daring to speak. Jessica tilted her head, her grin wide. "Hear that, everyone? She thinks she's scary now." Chloe added, giggling, "Maybe she's planning a magic spell." A boy behind me muttered, "Pathetic." His friend snickered. My legs felt like stone, but I forced myself upright. Milk dripped from my tray onto the floor. My stomach twisted at their faces, smirks, curled lips, eyes glittering with cruelty. Inside, though, something shifted. Their laughter didn't bury me this time. It planted something. A seed. Jessica's eyes locked on mine, waiting for me to crumble. I clenched my jaw instead. "Keep laughing," I murmured, my voice low but steady now. "I'll remember every single sound." Her brows furrowed just slightly, confusion flickered. Then she smirked again, tossing her hair. "Whatever you say," the bell rang, slicing through the noise. Students scraped chairs, grabbed bags, still chuckling as they spilled out. Milk trailed down my arm, sticky, cold, but I didn't wipe it away. I stood there in the mess, their laughter echoing in my ears, but this time it didn't echo into emptiness. It echoed into something sharper. I walked out without cleaning the floor, without apologizing, without lowering my head. Each step carried the weight of a new promise. They wanted me broken, but they just cracked something stronger awake. Their prank wasn't the end. It was the beginning. And deep down, I knew my silence was finished. My revenge had just been born. Jessica's laugh hit the hallway before I even saw her, high-pitched, sharp, cutting. My stomach knotted, but this time I slid my phone from my pocket, thumb brushing the screen until the red dot blinked. My hand trembled, but not with fear, with purpose. "Look who's here," Jessica drawled, her eyes flicking up and down my body. "Walking tragedy in motion. Chloe chimed in, grinning wide. Did you wash the cafeteria floor with your clothes, or is that just your new style? Their voices carried, bouncing off lockers. A few kids slowed to listen, some whispering, others smirking. I held the phone low, angled just enough to capture their faces. My pulse thundered in my ears. Keep talking. Every word you say is another. Rope around your neck. Jessica stepped closer, her perfume choking me again. You ever get tired of being a joke, or is that your full-time job? Laughter rippled behind her, sharp and cruel. My fingers tightened around the phone. I bit the inside of my cheek to keep from spitting rage too soon. Maybe she likes it, Chloe mocked, her voice dripping with fake innocence. Some people enjoy being humiliated. Heat flared through my chest, but I forced my voice steady. Funny, you sound like you've practiced this your whole life. Jessica's smirk twitched. What did you just say? I swallowed hard, tilting my head slightly. I said you must rehearse these lines in the mirror. A few onlookers chuckled. Quietly, Jessica's glare shot toward them, silencing the sound. She turned back to me, lips curling. Careful. People like you don't get to mouth off. People like you. The words burned, heavy, familiar. My heart pounded, but my voice came out low, almost a whisper. Keep going. What? Jessica. Snapped. I steadied my shaking hands, the phone still recording. Nothing. Just wondering how long you can keep performing before the mask slips. Her laugh came too quick, too forced. Oh, sweetie, my mask is flawless, Chloe giggled, clapping her hands once. Yeah, unlike yours, I let their words sink like knives, but didn't flinch. Not this time. Instead, I looked directly at Jessica, meeting her gaze. For the first time, I didn't drop my eyes. Do you ever hear yourselves? My voice cracked, but I pushed through. Or are you too drunk on your own cruelty to notice? The hallway quieted for a beat, students. Shifting, waiting for Jessica's strike. She sneered, stepping so close I could see the twitch in her jaw. Say that again. My hand clenched around the phone, the red dots still glowing. Every word you say is another rope around your neck. No need, I murmured. You're already saying enough. Jessica froze, her eyes narrowing. Chloe frowned, confused, glancing between us. The silence stretched, heavy, awkward, then Jessica laughed too loudly, her tone brittle. Pathetic, still playing the victim card. The crowd tittered, though thinner now, uneasy. I tucked the phone back into my pocket, heart racing. No one noticed, not her. Not Chloe. I walked past them, shoulders stiff, refusing to look back. Their voices followed me, but the sound felt different now, less like knives, more like desperate echoes, because I had proof their cruelty wasn't just smoke anymore. It had weight, shape, teeth. For the first time, I wasn't the one cornered. I was holding the weapon, I whispered to myself as I pushed through the doors at the end of the hall, the words tasting sharper than steel. This is where it starts. The red dot had become fire in my pocket, and last night I lit the match. By morning, the video was everywhere. Their words, their laughter, my stillness, all of it looping on phones and screens. Impossible to bury. Whispers hit me before I even reached my desk. She exposed them finally. Someone hissed behind me. Another voice, low, trembling with awe. Did you see Jessica's face? She's ruined. I slid into my chair, pulse hammering. The weight that had sat on my chest for months felt lighter, sharper, like I had shifted it back onto the ones who had earned it. The classroom buzzed louder than usual, a swarm of voices. I couldn't untangle until Mr. Harris stormed in. He dropped his books on the desk with a slam, his jaw tight. Quiet. His voice cut through the chatter. The room stilled instantly. He scanned us, eyes hard, though they lingered on me for half a second too long. I'm going to say this once. Whoever posted that video, this isn't how we solve things. A bitter laugh almost broke from my throat, but I bit it back. Solve things? My fingernails dug into my palm, Mr. Harris, Jessica's voice, cracked from across the room. She was pale, her confidence dripping away like water through cupped hands. That video, it's taken out of context. Snickers rose from the back. Someone whispered, context my ass. Chloe leaned forward, hissing at Jessica, but I caught every word. Delete it. People are calling my parents. Do you understand? They're furious. Jessica shoved her hand away. You think I haven't tried? It's everywhere. Her voice was high, panicked, stripped of its usual venom. The silence that once swallowed me was now smothering them. Every eye pinned them to their seats. Every whisper cut their skin. Mr. Harris slammed his hand on the desk again. Enough! Do you all realize the damage this is causing? Parents are calling the school. The principal's office is swamped. The community is, he faltered, pressing his fingers to his forehead. This is a mess. A voice near the window broke in, soft but steady. It wasn't a mess when she was the one getting humiliated. The room cracked open with murmurs. My throat tightened. My face burned, but not from shame, this time from the weight of being seen at last. Jessica snapped, her voice shaking. You don't know what you're talking about. I turned slowly, my gaze locking on hers. My voice came out calm, lower than I expected. No, they do. Her lips parted, stunned, then curled back into a snarl. You think this makes you strong, hiding behind a screen? I leaned forward, my pulse steady now. Stronger than hiding behind your laughter. Gasps broke across the room, quick and sharp. Mr. Harris barked. Enough, both of you! He glared at me, then at her, his voice cracking. This ends now. But I knew it couldn't. The video was out of my hands, living its own life. It had teeth, claws, wings. No one could drag it back into silence. Jessica hunched in her chair, nails biting her skin, her eyes wild. Chloe muttered again, frantic. Just beg whoever did it, beg them to take it down. Jessica's head snapped up. Beg? I don't beg. The room laughed, not cruelly, not toward me this time, but at her. At her fragility, I sat back, the knot in my chest loosening. For once, their silence was heavier than mine, and inside that silence, I whispered to myself, unheard but certain, this is only the beginning. The gym smelled like sweat and floor polish, but what suffocated me most was the silence. Hundreds of eyes, rows of folded arms, restless feet. I sat stiff in the bleachers, heart pounding against my ribs, waiting for the stage to become a battlefield. The principal's voice echoed through the microphone. We are here to address recent events that have disrupted our community. His eyes flicked over to me, my stomach twisted. Certain students will speak now. Jessica stepped forward, clutching the mic with shaking fingers. Her face was carefully painted into innocence, but her lips trembled just enough for me to taste the fear. She cleared her throat, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. If she felt hurt, I guess I'm sorry. The gym erupted in a low ripple of whispers. My fists tightened on my knees. If I felt hurt, my chest burned. That wasn't an apology, it was a dagger wrapped in velvet. I forced my voice out louder than I'd ever heard myself. You don't get to rewrite what you did. Gasps scattered the crowd. Jessica's head snapped toward me, eyes narrowing. I stood, legs trembling but locked in place. The microphone squealed as I gripped it. Your words weren't accidents. They were weapons, and I carried every scar. The silence that followed pressed down like a weight, but I didn't flinch. Jessica scoffed, her mask slipping. Oh, come on. You act like you're the only one who's ever been teased. Teased? My voice cracked but rose sharper, steadier. No, you made me a spectacle. You shoved my face into silence and made sure everyone laughed. You humiliated me until I forgot what my own voice sounded like. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. I saw heads drop, others nod. Whispers spread again, but now they weren't against me. Chloe tried to jump in, her words rushed. We didn't mean it like that. I cut her off, my chest heaving. You meant. Every word, every shove, every smirk. Don't stand here and call it a mistake when it was your entertainment. The principal raised his hand as if to stop me, but then he froze. Maybe he saw what I felt that once the dam broke, there was no patching it shut. My voice dropped, trembling but clear. Do you know what silence feels like? It's like drowning while the world watches. Everyone saw, and nobody spoke. Not until now. The gym was so quiet I could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights, then one clap, sharp, hesitant. A girl? From the back row, another joined. Then another. The sound swelled, uneven but growing. Jessica's face drained. She shook her head, whispering frantically into Chloe's ear, but the applause kept rising. My throat tightened. For the first time, their silence wasn't against me. It was for me. I let go of the mic, my hand shaking but my spine straight. I whispered to myself, almost too softly to hear over the clapping. They finally see me, and I knew this wasn't the end. It was only the first strike. The weeks dragged like shadows, heavy but different. For once, they weren't clinging to me. They clung to Jessica, to Chloe, to the girls who used to rule every corner of the hallways with smirks and whispers. I heard fragments everywhere I went. She's transferring. Her parents couldn't handle the calls. They don't even sit at their own table anymore. They had it coming. And every time I caught those words, something twisted in me, not joy exactly, not pity either. Just the strange weight of justice finally tipping. Jessica found me at my locker one afternoon. Her eyes were rimmed red, her voice a hoarse whisper that scraped against my skin. Why couldn't you just let it go? I froze, hands still gripping the lock. For a moment, the old instinct tugged at me, the one that told me to shrink, to keep quiet. But then her words burned through me, the same way her laughter used to. I turned slowly, my voice low but steady. Because my silence fed you, my voice freed me. She flinched, her mouth opening then closing again like a drowning. Fish, you think I haven't suffered enough? She muttered, looking past me as if the hallway might swallow her whole. I didn't soften. I couldn't. You didn't think I was suffering at all? That was the difference. Her lip trembled, and for a second I thought she might spit venom. Again, twist the knife like before. But she didn't. She just stood there, hollowed out, and then turned away. I breathed in, sharp and shaky, and let it out slowly. My chest didn't feel so tight anymore. Later, a boy I barely knew, quiet, always sitting in the back, walked beside me. He kept his voice low, almost ashamed. What you did, it gave the rest of us hope. We just never thought anyone could stand up to them. I blinked at him, the words catching me off guard. My throat tightened, but I nodded. Sometimes it only takes one voice. He nodded back, eyes shining with something I recognized. Relief. At home, I'd replay everything. In silence. The laughter, the shoves, the way teachers turned their faces away, and then the clapping in the gym, the gasps when the video leaked. The shifting tide. They wanted me invisible, I whispered to myself one night, staring at my reflection in the dark glass of my window. Instead, they became the cautionary tale. The thought didn't taste like triumph. It tasted like survival, like finally breathing without someone's hand pressing me down. Weeks passed, and Jessica stopped meeting my eyes. Chloe avoided entire hallways. Whispers still followed me, but they were different now. Not mocking, not sharp, curious, respectful. Even, I learned something in the quiet they left behind. My power was never in revenge. It was in reclaiming the dignity they tried to strip away, and that was mine to keep. Always. In the end, it wasn't revenge that mattered, it was dignity. And dignity always wins.